I love all the different possibilities in working with a model. Nothing is always perfect. I always loved the materialness of the artwork. So to be able to touch the paper, to actually feel the indentation of the plate in the paper. A lot of what I'm doing is not sort of taken out of context or sort of pulled by some just pure imagination. It's all inspired by something I've seen somewhere, or heard somewhere, or experienced somewhere. My name is Lothar Osterberg. I'm an artist, photographer, sculptor, and printmaker. As you can see in my work, I mostly build models, which I then photograph. I never took a photographic class in my life, so I came upon photography sort of through the back route, through printmaking. I've always loved to draw and paint, usually pretty realistically. It's about 20 years ago, a friend was selling his 4x5 camera, and for really cheap. He really needed money, so I thought, I should try that. I kind of was interested in trying that camera. And at the same time, I was building small-scale models out of wire, which I was bending. But I was thinking at that point as them as a three-dimensional drawing in space. And I would use them to hold them in front of paintings and then trace to kind of flatten it out and kind of paint those three-dimensional spaces on the canvas, back on it. So they looked superimposed, but they were in fact painted. So having the 4x5 camera and making those little photographs, which I kind of liked, I thought, well, I need to practice this process to kind of get better at it. So I started making a whole series of these small wire models, which I had done in photogravure. So I started doing my own photogravures in this process of making a model, photographing that, and then making a plate. So, and I've basically done that ever since. And, I've always loved the Bruegel painting of the Tower of Babel. That utopian, weird place. It was actually my first project where I thought about myself as an immigrant. So I bring my own world, my own background, my own experience of living in New York or having lived in Germany into all my work, the same way as Bruegel placed his Tower of Babel into a Dutch landscape. Immigration, which made this country so great. For photogravure, it's an analog process, so you want to use film. But the film, to make enlarged film positives for the process, has been getting harder and harder to get, and with the advance of digital photography and digital films. So in fact, about 10 years ago or so, I have changed pretty much exclusively to scanning my negatives and putting them out digitally, because just the availability of the material has changed. As a printmaker, I've always had to live with the lucky or the unlucky accident of the process.